Today, I'm going to talk you through everything related to horizontal extraction, starting with stillaging, and I'll show you each of the steps involved. Stillaging and extraction of the beer can be done horizontally, which is our preferred method. Let's take a closer look at horizontal stillaging of Taylor's beers. Remember, it's likely that the beer has just been bounced around on a wagon before being delivered, then dropped into the cellar. The key steps now are to let it cool and settle down. If the beer has been stored somewhere other than where it will be dispensed for more than 24 hours, we recommend giving the cask a gentle roll to redistribute contents before then moving to your auto tilt and venting. If possible, on delivery, position the beer on your auto tilt with the shive and keystone vertically aligned.
The reason we do this is because the pocket of carbon dioxide in the cask then sits directly under the shive where you will vent, meaning you won't vent directly into the beer and lose any during the process.
If the beer has entered the cellar straight from the delivery vehicle, it takes approximately 1 hour per gallon for the beer to cool to cellar temperature, more if the cask was warm on entry. For our beers, we recommend that you let them settle and cool for at least 5 hours, ideally a bit more, but no more than 24. If you open the cask before 5 hours, you'll lose too much of the carbon dioxide, which needs to absorb back into the beer to give that lively carbonation. Once the beer is settled and cooled, you can vent it. Venting removes the pressure in the cask, allowing the yeast to space and continue its secondary fermentation, conditioning the beer so it's ready to serve. Make sure the shive and keystone are completely clean by thoroughly scrubbing with a brush and warm water. We use a peg to knock the tut area out of the shive into the cask, which allows the excess carbon dioxide out. You may have heard the fizz as the peg went in. Now we can slowly wiggle the hard peg out and control the release of gas. This is the point where we advise you to also tap the cask. Before you leave the beer for those first 24 hours of conditioning, and straight after venting the cask, we recommend that you tap it. Our preference has always been to tap at the same time as you vent, which we feel is more beneficial to our ingredients and helps the beer to drop bright. This is when the yeast has completed fermentation and settled to the bottom of the cask, leaving the beer perfectly clear. Remember, the tap must be clean and dry before coming into contact with the beer, so please use hot water and the relevant detergent, and of course, rinse well again with hot water after cleaning. Make sure you don't touch the spout of the tap, as this goes into the beer and could cause contamination. Remember to safely hold the tap with the flat of your hand so that you can't hit or trap your fingers while tapping the cask. Then use the mallet to knock it into the cask. We recommend tapping the beer with a closed tap. It's best done by giving it a solid first hit and then a second follow-up to ensure it's tight. Fewer hits mean less disturbance to the beer. Once you've released that initial gas, remove the hard peg and leave the hole completely empty. After the initial venting, we leave the hole empty for 24 hours, allowing the excess carbon dioxide and froth to be released. Don't be worried about oxygen getting into the cask, as the lively CO2 and froth stops it from entering.
Once the emissions stop, clean the shive again and place a soft peg into the hole for at least another 24 hours. This should be touch tight and allows conditioning to continue. After 24 hours, check the beer. If you hear the hiss of gas or froth is still coming out of the cask, this means the beer is still conditioning, so leave it for a further 6 hours. Remember, every cask is born different, so check intermittently. For example, another 6 hours or at the end of a session or the next morning until there's no more conditioning. Also, if the soft peg has got wet at any point, replace it with a new one as it will become airtight. You can seal it with a hard peg. This peg should be put in a little harder, airtight, and then store ready for when you want to serve it. We call this the 10-day rule, and please remember the beer must always be sold within its best before date.
Now that our beer has been fully conditioned and held until you're happy with it, we're ready to get it on sale. With a horizontal cask, we must now replace our hard peg with a breathable soft peg so the beer can be pulled up to the bar. If you don't remove the hard peg, you're creating a vacuum and the beer won't come up to the hand pull.
First, we need to do a quick test of the beer at the cask to ensure the clarity, aroma and taste are perfect for our customers to enjoy. And of course temperature, which if your cellar is the right temperature will be fine. This is called a cat test.
With a horizontal cask, you can draw the beer directly from the tap. If you're happy with the beer, you can now connect it to the ale line. Check the line is clean and connect it. If you haven't already got one, we suggest adding a hop filter to ensure no solid particles can enter the line, which can cause bacteria to grow. For those using horizontal extraction, these are vital steps you must follow when the beer goes on sale. If you're not using an auto tilt, at the end of day one, or when the cask is 2/3 full, you must tilt the cask to maximise the extraction of all of the conditioned beer. Now your customers can enjoy a perfect pint of Taylor's beer.